This is the Louie T Network.
Who else could it be? Me, your me, Louie T. Welcome to lockdown coverage, week number 6 in the National Football League. Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road out in the desert taking on the Arizona Cardinals. The new look Arizona Cardinals featuring A.D. Adrian Peterson, who can still run all day. And I must say, this team looked fun again. They looked vibrant again. Larry Fitzgerald looked like he was having fun again. This Cardinals team looked more like the team we were expecting when the season started. Now, granted, it was against this Buccaneers team that a lot of people were high on, and I wasn't going into the season. But look, nonetheless, this was an impressive showing until about the halfway point of the third quarter was when the wheels start to fall off the wagon for this Cardinals football team. That being said, they hung on for the victory. The real test comes next week at Los Angeles against the Rams. You want me to take you seriously? Do this again next week against a real opponent, one that you need to beat in the division if you want to stand a chance in the NFC West. That's going to be a huge matchup, one that I'll be circling on the calendar. As for the Bucs, you lose Jameis Winston in this game, but reports are it's just an AC joint sprain. He should be ready to go next week versus Buffalo. Will he play next week? Maybe, maybe not. Ryan Fitzpatrick came in and did what Ryan Fitzpatrick does. I'm going to miss him when he goes. You know that? For as much shit as I give him and talk about him, I'm going to miss Ryan Fitzpatrick when he's gone, man. God, that man comes off the bench like no other, man. They were getting their ass handed to them 31-0. He comes in the game, as he always does, unassuming, not giving a shit, throwing the football all over the damn field to your team, to his team. He doesn't give a damn. He's just out slinging it around the yard, and all of a sudden, you look up, and they're right back in this goddamn game. God bless Ryan Fitzpatrick. We all need a Ryan Fitzpatrick on our team. I think. No, we don't. I lied. Because if he is on your team, that means your starting quarterback's going to get hurt at some point. And I don't want that on my conscience. So, in any event, I'm going to break down how the Cardinals were able to get this win. Looked so impressive. Turn back the hands of time. If I could turn back the hands of time. If I could turn back the hands of time. Well, the Cardinals turned back the hands of time. Carson Palmer looked like he was in Cincinnati again. Larry Fitzgerald looked like a young man again. When does Larry Fitzgerald not look like a young man? And Adrian Peterson forgot he wasn't in Minnesota anymore. It was fun to watch. But before we get to the breakdown of this game, if you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. Look, we changing the game over here. I'm guilty as charged. We changing the game. Want you to help us do that by just hitting the subscribe button and becoming a member of the Louie T Network. I've got a number of social media platforms that I'm a part of. There's Instagram, there's Twitter, there's Facebook. If you want to stay in tune and abreast of what's going on here, simply follow me on Twitter for sure. But Instagram will give you more of an introspective, personal look. And then there's Facebook, which will keep you abreast. I'm about to really change up my Facebook game, so you might want to be a part of that as well. But all of that is down in the description. The links are in the description as to where you can link up with this channel via my social media platforms. Also, there's links down in the discussion where you can donate to the channel. Those are the two links right there in front of you. One is for Patreon, the other for PayPal. The Patreon angle is very unique. I'm really fascinated by Patreon and all of the things that you can do with it. And I'm really looking to do some great things with that. And so if you can donate, there are some perks in there for you if you meet the requirements of the tiers that I have set aside, and I'll be doing a video on those a little bit later on in the week. But in any event, if you can donate, please do, to help further this channel along. If you cannot donate, all I ask is that you continue to support this channel and just watch the videos, like the videos, share the videos. And if you haven't already done so, again, why haven't you subscribed to the Louie T Network? That being said, let's jump into this breakdown. And we start with the winning team in this game, the Arizona Cardinals. This was fun to watch. This is the Arizona Cardinals team that I envisioned when this season started with David Johnson. This is the team that I thought would come out slinging the football around the field. Now, I had little to no confidence in Carson Palmer at the beginning of this season. I still have little to no confidence in Carson Palmer, but I can tell you this much. He's a lot more confident when he has a run game behind him. That's for damn sure. You could see that in this game. He started this game, 14 of 14 before he threw his interception to break his perfect streak. He was outstanding to start this game off, and I think, and this is just one of my hot takes, this is just my personal perspective of things, that he started off this game so confidently because of the guy behind him in number 23, Adrian Peterson, who came in, and I knew he had some juice left. Now, him talking about, I got 4 or 5 years left, save it, buddy, save it. Sounds good, but you don't have 4 or 5 years of juice left in the tank. But I could tell when he was in New Orleans, there was still a bounce in his step. And if he hit a seam, he could still go much faster than slow. He still had that mean jump cut and the ability to make guys miss out of space. You saw all of those things in this game on display. He still got it, folks. He can still make you miss. He can still run you over. He can still run by you. He can still do all of the things that made him the premier back in this league for a number of years in Minnesota. And so if they can get this out of him consistently, I don't know what happens when David Johnson comes back. Or maybe David Johnson doesn't come back this year because of Adrian Peterson's presence. Maybe they allow him to heal up. I don't know. Time will tell what happens with that situation. They were talking Thanksgiving time. He'd be back. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. But if Adrian Peterson continues to play this way, you won't need to rush him back. But he was outstanding, was Adrian Peterson. And because of his presence and his ability to run the football, boy, the skies opened up. Those linebackers were respecting the hell out of play action fake. They were biting down on play action fake. And the middle of the football field was open. That Larry Fitzgerald touchdown, does it get any easier than that? My goodness, that's what happened when you can run the football. Teams respect that fake handoff. And now all of a sudden, guys like Larry Legend, guys like Sheriff John Brown, guys like Jerron Brown, guys like J.J. Nelson, guys are running wide open in the secondary. Hell, even Troy Nicholas got a touch. When's the last time Troy Nicholas scored a goddamn touchdown? That's when you know everything's clicking. When you start getting guys involved that you haven't seen since 2019. Wait a minute, that's the future. 2009. It was amazing. The pace that they were playing at, the effectiveness of this offense. Remember just a couple of weeks ago, this offensive line couldn't block anybody, couldn't open up any holes in the run game. This offense looked pathetic last week versus Philadelphia. And in 1 week's time, all of a sudden now you're trying to tell me that they've opened up 34 yards worth of real estate. And all of a sudden, Carson Palmer has all day to stand in the pocket and deliver darts all over the football field to the tune of 31-0. That's what you're telling me? Come on, give me a break, man. That's crazy. And that's the impact of what Adrian Peterson brings to the table. He changed the whole dynamics of this offense. And again, I'm not totally sold. Much like Baltimore in Oakland last week, just having this revelation where they scored 30 whole points for the Ravens. Oh my God. Everyone said, oh, the Ravens offense is back. We're fixed. We're healed. Yes. No, it was the Raiders defense that made you look so good. I feel the same way about this Buccaneers defense. Not very good. Not very good. And so now next week you're going to get a real test. Family business. These boys know you. Okay. They're not going for Adrian Peterson going buck wild and running for $130 and some change. They're not having that. Carson Palmer's going to have to eat those boys up in the secondary. We're going to see. Is their offensive line legit? We're going to find out because those boys, they do get after the quarterback out there in Los Angeles. So I'm anxious to see if this Arizona Cardinals football team is willing, ready, and able to compete in this NFC West division, because this division is wide open. And despite the Rams getting off to this great start, I'm still waiting for Seattle to say, hey, y'all chill. This is our division. And Arizona's like, wait, what about us? We have a say, right? We get a vote here too, right? Hey, here's your chance. On the road, Los Angeles, next week. Here's your chance to have a vote, to have a say in this division and the way it turns out. You want to make a stake and a claim that you should win this division? Go on the road and make that claim legitimate. And so I'm looking forward to that. Defensively, though, it started out promising, even though I told you I'm not sold on this Cardinals defense. Patrick Peterson, who I love, I thought that if the quarterbacks in this game were more accurate, he would have gotten his ass roasted. The first possession of the game, Mike Evans beat him on a deep ball by a step and to the inside. If that ball's on the money from Jameis Winston, that's a 50-yard gain on the first possession of the game. Like, that touchdown that he broke up right before half on a fourth down, and he's running around and doing all of that extra stuff, that was a bad throw. He was, now granted, it was a pick play, and he had to fight through traffic just to get in that play. So I will give him credit for that. That was phenomenal on his part to sort through the garbage and get in a position to knock that football away. But it was behind Mikey. Had that football been in front of Mikey, that's a touchdown. So I thought there were opportunities to beat him. Look, you can have your way with Justin Bethel on the other side. The Buccaneers did it all second half long. You can have your way with, you can have whatever you like. Yeah, against Justin Bethel. Okay, we saw the Eagles do it a couple weeks ago. We saw the Bucs do it in the second half. This Cardinals defense, to me, it's not very good. They don't get after the quarterback consistently. I think you can run the football on them. And how do you give up a 31-0 lead? You know how you give it up? By not playing good defense. You were at home, you were killing these boys, and you almost let them come back and take this game from you. And so I still think that this Cardinals team, while this game was cute, I've got my doubts. I still hold a lot of reservations. Next week, if you really want to win me over, you really want me to start believing that you have what it takes to compete in this NFC West division, I need you to go on the road and show the Rams who's boss like Seattle did. And then I'll be a believer at that point. But right now, I'm not a believer. But we'll see. But this was impressive. And more importantly, this was fun to watch. Cardinals football had become stale for me. It became a task and a chore to watch. I used to enjoy Cardinals football. This was fun. I enjoyed this. I want more of this. We'll see if there's more of this in store, or if this was just a one-game aberration against a Buccaneers team that's trying to find themselves. We'll see. You go to the Buccaneers in this game, and we'll start on the defensive side of football because the offense was fun in the second half. The defense, however, was not fun in the first half. They were atrocious. And that's been my gripe all along with this Buccaneers team. And a lot of people were mad at me before the season started when I said this team was going to take a step back at 7-9 this year. I said, I'm not buying what you're selling. I don't know if the offense will come together. You got a ton of talent over there. But I'm not that impressed with this defense either. And I said that, and I said, who's going to get pressure? And they kept saying, well, Noah Spencer's going to get pressure. Gerald McCoy's going to get pressure. We're going to get pressure on the quarterback. Oh, really? Okay, sounds good. So who's getting pressure for you these days? Because I watched you on primetime television on Thursday night last week or 2 weeks ago. Didn't see a lot of pressure on Tom Brady then. I watched you in this game, and I saw Carson Palmer looking like a young man out there. And if you've watched Carson Palmer this year and last year, he's looked like anything but a young man. So you made this man turn back the clock. He felt comfortable. He was shredding you. And like I said, it's a lack of pressure on the quarterback. No one fears your secondary, so they feel like they can throw the football. And, oh, by the way, teams run on you really well. I've seen that. I thought that New England ran the football extremely well against you. They don't run the football normally against anybody that often. They ran it against you. This Cardinals team last week, they went out and got Adrian Peterson because Chris Johnson did little to nothing last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. And the week prior against whoever. He struggled. They said, you know what? We got to upgrade the running back position. I watched the Dallas Cowboys systematically take apart that same offensive line that you struggle with. I saw DeMarcus Lawrence set an NFL record with 19 sacks in one game against the Arizona Cardinals, and you couldn't get any pressure. That's a problem. It's a problem. And the problem is I don't see it changing. I don't. And so that's a problem in itself. But you were able to force some turnovers in the second half. Carson Palmer underthrew a receiver that was open. And Brent Grimes was able to see the football, track it, and stop, come back for the underthrow, pick it off, make it a hell of a return at that. You strip the running back of the football, scoop and score it. That's fine. Turnovers help. They're the great equalizer, especially when your defense isn't getting the job done. Turnovers help. But I am not impressed with this Buccaneers defense. I watched a lifeless Giants offense score 22, 23 against you. I saw a Cardinals offense that had been struggling put up 31 in a little over 2 quarters. Yikes. That's not good. Not very good. But in any event, let's talk about your offense. Because the offense was fun in this game in the second half. I actually thought they moved the football effectively early in the game with Winston in. And they got to midfield like twice, and they bogged down. They couldn't find a way to convert, and they had to punt. And the Cardinals just continued to ram the football down your throat. And they just took it down the field, and then Winston eventually got hurt. And in came Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I've always said this about Ryan Fitzpatrick. You got to have a backup on your team that when he comes in, one of two things are going to happen. Something good's going to happen, or something bad's going to happen. But either way, something's going to happen. I don't want a backup to come in and just be even keel, steady Eddie. Unless I'm up by 20. Yeah, then I don't want you to piss away my lead. But, hell, normally when a backup comes in the game, especially in a situation like that, it's bad. So I need him to come in, guns a-blazing, and not giving a damn. And what better backup to have come in the game and not give a damn but Ryan Fitzpatrick? I mean, goddamn, I love Ryan Fitzpatrick because he don't give a damn. And he came in and he just started throwing BBs, man. Zoop, 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 zoop. And before you knew it, they were back in this game. I'm going to say this, though. Shame on Dirk Cutter. And I get it to a certain degree, but it pains me when I see coaches go outside of the game to try to be special. And what I mean by that, you're down 31-0. I get it. At this time, you're down 24-0. Right before the half, you've gotten all the way down the field, and you're like, I want 7. I'm down 24. I get it. But 24-0 with a whole half of football to play, that's not insurmountable. Take the points. Get the field goal. I get it. You're down 24-0. A touchdown sounds so much better than a field goal at this point. But guess what? There's still a whole half of football to play. If it were the fourth quarter and you're down 24-0, I get it. You go for a touchdown. There's no reason to kick a field goal. That doesn't help you. There's still a whole half of football. Kick the field goal. Why do I say that? I'm going to explain myself. But instead, you go for it. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a little late, a little tart with the football, slightly behind Mikey. It's knocked away by Pat P. You go to the halftime break with nothing. Okay, that's fine. It's all right. Then you score your first touchdown. At this point, you're down 31-0. Should have been 31-3, but who's counting, right? I am. But anyway, you score your first touchdown, and you decide to go for 2. Why? Why? I get it. I get the logic behind it. But let's think about this for a second. In your warped, twisted brain, you're thinking, hey, we scored 3 touchdowns. We go for 2 3 times. We get all 3 of them. That's 24 points. And then all we need is a touchdown. And we tie the game up at 31. Yeah, that sounds good in theory. But how many teams have you seen go for it 3 times in one game and get all 3 of them? Nobody. Nobody does that. So how about you do this? How about you play the game the right way? How about you take the extra damn point and stop chasing points the rest of the game because you went for 2 and you didn't get it? Listen to what I'm about to say to you because I'm trying to school you as a professional football watcher. Okay, listen to what I'm about to say to you because I'm about to drop a gem on your melon. I'm about to impart some knowledge on your brain. All right? You scored 5 touchdowns in this game. But you know why you ended up with 33 points? Because you decided it was a good idea to go for 2 like 3 times. You need to wash your face. Get your mind right if you think that's a good idea. Kick the damn extra points. Had you done that, guess what that would have netted you? Just guess what 5 touchdowns and 5 extra points gets you. 35 points. Good job. Had you kicked the field goal before halftime, guess what the score would have been at the end of the goddamn game? 38-38. Stop being a goddamn genius and play the game the right way. You would have had a chance to have one of the most epic comebacks in NFL history. But you couldn't see that far because all you kept thinking was, we need to go for 2. No, you don't need to go for 2. We need a touchdown here. Take the damn field goal. You got a whole half of football to play, man. You effed your team up. The chart says you don't go for 2 until the 4th goddamn quarter. 4th quarter is when you go for 2. Anyway, back to Ryan Fitzpatrick. Man, was that fun to watch or what? Everybody started getting the football. He was spraying the football all over the field. Hell, even the Arizona Cardinals got a couple in there, man. It's always fun. It's all good when Ryan Fitzpatrick gets in the game, man. It's fun for everyone. And I enjoy watching it. And all of a sudden now, Mikey is having himself a ball. Deshaun Jackson is in the end zone. The Buccaneers defense stepping up, scooping and scoring. And all of a sudden, we got ourselves a ball game, folks. But in typical Bucs fashion, when you needed to get it done, you couldn't quite do it. And you didn't deserve to win this game anyway. You didn't. It would have been nice, but you didn't deserve to win this game. You give up 31 in just over 2 quarters. You give up 38 overall. You mangle the scoreboard by going for 2 way earlier than you should. I don't fault you for going for the touchdown before the half, but I would have preferred you taking a field goal there. But I get it. I understand the logic behind the move. But you didn't deserve to win because you didn't play the game the right way. You went about it all wrong. You panicked because you were down. When you had time, you panicked. Could you have foreseen the Cardinals turning over the ball a couple of times, one being a scoop and score? Could you have foreseen that your team would score 4 offensive touchdowns in a little under 2 quarters? No, you didn't see it coming, but you gotta plan for those things, man. You got desperate way too early, and you deserve to lose this football game. And hell, you give up 24 in the first half and 31 on the first possession of the second half, you deserve to lose the football game. Period, point blank, end of discussion. In any event, Cardinals get the win. 38-33 in a really fun football game. For all, everybody, celebrate. Whether you won or lost, it was a fun game to watch. And so, Buccaneers are now 2-3. Cardinals are now 3-3, and they got a big one. A fat, juicy one. Next week on the road at the Rams. That, my friends, is going to be some compelling football, if I may say so myself. Meanwhile, the Bucs head to Buffalo, where I think Jameis Winston will be in the starting lineup, coming to play in a tough environment against a team coming off of a bye that can get after the quarterback. That one could get ugly. And, oh, by the way, the Bills, they run the football. P.S. You're going to need to stop the run. Good luck. You're going to need it. Let's check the comment section. See what we got. We're going to have a lot of comments from my man B.E., huge Cardinals fan. He says, AP all day, hashtag Larry Legend, we got the win. B says, defense needs to step up like, what the F? We're up 31-0. Ain't no way it should have came down to the wire. Exactly. Could have been worse, BE. You could have been the Atlanta Falcons and found a way to blow it. So just be fortunate that you guys hung on. Like you said, you got the win. But it should not have come down. You're right. It should not, I repeat, not have come down to the end of the game. BE says, next 4 weeks, London versus the Rams. Oh, that's in London? I got to stop doing that. Because I've done this twice already where I'm like, oh, that game's in, fill in the blank. And I find out later it's in London, and I screw the whole thing up because I'm thinking that team's at home. That's a London game? A divisional game in London? They don't normally do that. Are you sure that's in London? Really? Huh. Okay. That is fascinating. Normally they don't do divisional games in London. It's not family business. Normally it's out of division, out of conference, or even out of division game. But okay. Then you say bye week at Santa Clara against the 49ers, then home against Seattle, all tough games. Anytime you're in a division against family members, it's tough games. You know that. Those games could go anyway. I mean, you struggle with the 49ers the first time. They're going to beat somebody eventually. And I told you, when they get somebody, most likely it's going to be in the division. Could be you. Be careful. We'll see what happens. That Rams game is going to be huge. And you get a break playing them over in London instead of having to play them in L.A. That's a huge break for you guys. And then home for Seattle. Like you said, all tough games. BE also says, can Larry never retire? When he hangs them up, I'm going to be depressed. He still looks like the same Larry from 10 years ago, man. It's amazing. If you don't want him to retire, you got to keep that same energy in Arizona. The thing that's going to make him retire is when Carson Palmer retires and there's no quarterback on the roster. If you would have already put a guy in the position, now this is where maybe an Alex Smith or somebody like that comes on board next year when Alex Smith will probably come available, or maybe even a Drew Brees. If you get Drew Brees in Arizona, I think Bruce Arians and Larry Fitzgerald stays. If there's no help inside at the quarterback position and you got to start all over, I think Arians and L Boogie might be on their way out. So you want to keep Larry happy and keep him playing football, get a quarterback, a veteran quarterback in there that he thinks he can win with. BE says, when DJ comes back, our backfield is going to be lethal with DJ and AP, a deadly 1-2 punch. See, I don't know about that. The reason that he got shunned out of New Orleans is because he wanted the rock. DJ is a high-volume guy. DJ will carry it 25 times and catch it another 10. That means there's no room for another back to get in the game and get touches. I don't know how that's going to go when he comes back. We're going to see. Archangel says, I know it's still a little too early, but what is your take on the NFC South thus far, Lou? Here's my stance on the NFC South right now. I look at this division and I say to myself, Carolina plays defense, but their offense is sketchy. Atlanta has by the way, Carolina has an identity issue on offense. They don't know what they want to do, who they want to be on offense. Atlanta has a dynamic offense, but they have an identity crisis on offense, and their defense has been sketchy. I look at New Orleans and I say, New Orleans, we know their defense historically has been bad, and I still think they have pockets of time and stretches of football where they're still bad, but they have the ability to create turnovers and be dynamic defensively, and they're getting better as the weeks progress. And the offense, surprisingly enough, to me, isn't that dynamic as it normally is. I think now that Willie Snead is back, that's going to help them move the sticks. But I still don't feel like they have that field stretcher. Maybe the little short guy, Billy Ray Cyrus, will start making some plays. And I don't know, that's not his name. But They need somebody to stretch the field in New Orleans, but I look at that division and I say it's a 3-team race. I never was on board with Tampa, still not. I wasn't on board with them before the season started. I still think New Orleans defense and maybe even the offense might hold them back. I really think it's going to come down to Carolina and Atlanta. And I think Atlanta, to me, still is the best team in that division. When I look at it, they just got to figure out who they are on offense. If they can do that, I think the defense is going to be just fine. Even though I was not impressed with what I saw, and I thought they looked a little soft against Miami this past week, I still think that they're the class of that division. I think Carolina, they're too inconsistent on offense, and their defense, while it's good, I still think you can move the football on that defense. So, and New Orleans, I don't want to count them out because of Peyton and Breeze and Marshawn Lattimore. God damn it. I think they're starting to build something defensively, but I still think it's Carolina and Atlanta when it's all said and done. And I still think Atlanta, if they can get their act together offensively, look, if they're going to struggle on offense, then it's Carolina's division to lose. If they can get their act together offensively, then I think it's still Atlanta's division when it's all said and done, because I think their defense is good enough. Their offense, we know, can be one of the best in the league when they're clicking. I still think Atlanta is the best that division has to offer when they're playing their brand of football. What is that brand of football? You got me. That's the big $1 million question right now. Who are the Falcons offensively, and what do they stand for? BE says, that interception by Bethea and Tramon Williams, boy, both of those were pretty. Especially the Tramon Williams one. That was gorgeous to come and take that one away from the receiver. The Bethea one, that was just Ryan Fitzpatrick being Ryan Fitzpatrick, being greedy and taking a shot down the field into double coverage. That one, that was a gimme. That was easy money. Worst ever says, Cards always suck against backup quarterbacks. Landry Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo fits with the Bucs. I guess. I mean, that's not good. You're not supposed to allow. But again, it depends on how it goes. I remember Jimmy G getting you, first game of the season last year. Landry Jones with the Steelers on the road. But that was on the road versus Steelers. That was going to be tough either way. But maybe there's a little bit of history there. Maybe they do struggle against backup quarterbacks. BE says, we got our starting left tackle back from injury, and we got our backup left guard back. Maybe that helps a lot when you get healthy along your offensive line. We'll find out how good this offensive line is next week. I think we're going to find out some things about this team next week versus the Rams. Reese says, dug ourselves too big a hole, Lou. We fought hard. 5 seconds, second half touchdowns, ran out of time. Yeah, I didn't like the way your coach managed the game. I thought it cost you an opportunity to win this game potentially, but it is what it is. He didn't expect 5 second half touchdowns. That's what it boils down to. He panicked, and he didn't expect 5 second half touchdowns, and he started doing stupid stuff, and it cost you at the end of the game. BE says, first time in NFL history, we had a quarterback throw for 300 yards, running back go for 100 yards, and rushing yards, and had a wide receiver go for 100 yards in a game. Reese says, Fitzpatrick surprised me, Lou. He played well. That's what he does when he comes off the bench. When you ask this man to start for you for an extended period of time, that's when the real Ryan Fitzpatrick stands up and he starts doing some garbage. But I love Ryan Fitzpatrick off the bench, man. It doesn't get much better than Fitz off the bench. I love me some Ryan Fitzpatrick, man. Damn it. B says, we will win you over next week when we go to London and beat the Rams. All right, I'm now that game's in London, I'm looking at it differently. That's one of those games I'll sit down and I'll kind of analyze and figure out what I'm going to do there. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Reese says, Mike Smith is starting to piss me off, Lou. Think he's Lovie Smith in disguise. Your defense is not good. It's not good. Now, my problem with Mike Smith is I think you need to blitz more. You're not getting enough pressure with 4. So I think you need to come with more pressure and get after the quarterback. These quarterbacks have way too much time to throw the football. El Guapo del Fuego says, will you do the Chargers game next? I think the Jaguars game is next, and then the Chargers game is last. BE says, by the way, thanks, Louie, for doing this game before my class. No doubt, man. I just go in order as they come, man. And yours just happened to be next. BE says, late conditional 6th-round pick for AD. I think we won this trade. I mean, they weren't looking to win a trade. They were just looking to get rid of him and get something in return. So they feel like we signed a free agent, got nothing out of him, and then got a 6th-round pick for him. They feel good about that. You feel good about your investment. They feel good about what they're going to get, the return on that investment. So they feel good about it. You feel good about it. I think both teams won. B says, when I watched the game, I lost count of how many AP and Larry chants that were made. I mean, that was fun. Like I said, that was a fun game to watch. Archangel said, this is why I watch and support you, because you always keep things quite entertaining. Laughing my ass off. I don't know what you're talking about, as I normally don't, but I'm just glad you continue to watch. Worst ever says, let's be honest. Winston isn't that good, right? No, I actually think he's a really good quarterback. And he does some things with the football and make some questionable decisions with the football, but that's just something you got to take. You know, it is a part of his DNA, but the guy's a hell of a football player. And I'll tell you right now, with the game on the line, there aren't many quarterbacks that I'd take before him. He's that good, especially in the clutch. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens moving forward. But Jameis Winston is going to be a good quarterback in this league for a long time to come. That being said, it's going to do it for this breakdown. Got 2 more to go in the chamber. Jags, Rams, and Chargers, and Raiders. I'll be back a little bit later on, right around 7:30-ish with those, 8 o'clock-ish with those. I'll see you in a little bit. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie T Network. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. I'll see you a little bit later on with those 2 games to wrap up week number 6. Lockdown coverage heading in to Monday Night Football, Colts and Titans. I'll see you in a bit. Stick around.